You have to unmute yourself if you want to be on. Hi! So, why don't you use F32 for everything? Because it gives you lots of depth of field, but...
Don't have enough light.
Well, that's all right. If you use enough flash or you've got enough light, you can still do it. But look how sharp the sharpest bit is. All of these are focused there. So that is as sharp there as it is at the back of it nearly. So at F32, I've got all that in focus. But going back to that one, look what I've got in focus. Now, I've got some other issues there. But that is sharp. That is pin sharp. It has some chromatic aberration. Can you see these red bits at the side?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's chromatic aberration. That's shot at f2.8. And as you see, the amount that's in focus is about from there to there. There's less than a milli in focus at f2.8. You're not going to get a lot done with that. But what's sharp is sharp. Why is that? Anybody know?
Because you didn't spend your money on a good lens.
Didn't what?
Spend your money on a good lens.
No, it's physics, not finances. I didn't spend a lot of money on a good lens. It's 100mm macro, not the later L version. But it's still sharp. Diffraction. Diffraction is the reason we don't do that. I don't want to go into diffraction, but basically it means if you stop down too much, things get softer again. And there's an optimum point in your lens where things are sharp. And it's not full aperture. So if I go to the next one.
Well, that's going to depend on your lens then, isn't it?
No. It's the law of physics.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, in terms of where the spot is on your lens, that's your lens, that's going to depend on your lens. Because your 100mm is going to be different than my 85.
Where the optimum is does depend on the lens to a degree, but it's never maximum aperture. It's usually down from maximum, give or take a stop or two. Yeah?
Yeah.
It's usually
this isn't sharp because I missed. I don't know what I focused on there. Let's try again. There we go. Right. So chromatic aberration will go down. Looks like I messed up. Oh, there we go. But if you look at what's sharp, and it's not quite the same place, there's a bit more sharp here. Looks like I've moved behind. So you got that bit sharp, and there's less chromatic aberration. And the more you stop down, the less chromatic aberration you get. Am I looking at the right ones here? Yeah. Oh, well. Let's go in here. Oh, there. This is F16. And it doesn't want to, doesn't actually want to load it. I'm looking at the raw files and it's really struggling loading them. So apologies for that. So that's f16. That's f22. Yeah, let's see whether this one does. That's f16. F16 isn't so bad. You still get some issues with diffraction, but not as much. And it's also hard to see when it's been compressed like this on a video stream. That'll be f11.
So, Michael,
f11 is probably the optimum, but it gives you a little bit more room. And
Michael?
there's very little. Yep.
Are you looking for the sweet spot on these lenses?
Not necessarily. I'm just looking for why you don't use maximum aperture and minimum aperture.
All right. Right. Okay, thank you.
I'm just trying to be realistic. Don't bother with your widest aperture because you're going to have aberration problems. Don't bother with the smallest aperture because you're going to have diffraction problems. So you want somewhere in between.
Well, I think what you're saying is, what you need to do, you need to understand your own lens, because every lens
Doesn't matter. It does not matter. This applies to every single lens in existence.
agree.
Maximum aperture always has the most aberrations. Minimum aperture always has the maximum diffraction. These are laws of physics that you can't get round.
And I'm
And
not
quality of lens manufacture has no bearing on them whatsoever. What your maximum aperture is and what your minimum aperture is, those depend on your lens. How much aberration you get at your maximum aperture depends on your lens, but you will get the worst. So those are just facts of physics. There's no at all you can do about it. Not a thing, not a sausage. Are you having a snooze? Yeah?
I agree. So every single lens will follow the physics. But
Yeah.
you can compare two different lenses where one's corrected much better than the others. So if
Yeah.
you've got an APO lens that's corrected like my macro lens, I get zero chromatic aberration because it's corrected for it at every aperture.
No, you haven't.
Well, okay. When I compare it to other lenses,
You've got better, yes.
better. So what I'm saying is you need to learn your lens.
You need to learn your lens. You need to learn your sweet spot,
Exactly.
which is usually two stops down from your maximum aperture. It's never the maximum aperture, ever. You may not agree on that, but it's a fact.
No, I do.
Sorry?
I do agree entirely on that. Yes.
Good. So pick your lens, pick your aperture. Know what you can get away with. Because sharpness is in the mind. The actual real sharpness is in the mind. It's not on anything else. There are lots of ways that you can make something look sharper. There are ways you can make things look softer. You can have an image that's quite soft, but is actually pin sharp. You can have an image that's pin sharp or looks pin sharp, but isn't. It's quite soft. So that's just to confuse everybody. Right. Okay. So that gives you the depth of field as well. Depth of field gets bigger the smaller the aperture, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. One other thing affects depth of field. What's that?
What?
Distance to the subject.
Indirectly.
Can't hear you.
Anybody else? There is one thing which affects it.
You've got to go out and clap me.
The amount of zoom.
No.
How much you've zoomed in or out?
There's a box down at the bottom if you want to change what you're looking at. You toggle the views, or you can click on one of them so that you see that one big.
No, I think you're going to have to tell us, Mike, and we're not sure what you mean.
Okay. Well, it's not focal length directly. It's not distance to subject directly. It's magnification. The only two things you need to worry about as far as depth of field is concerned is aperture and magnification. Those are the only things you need to worry about. Forget everything else.
Magnification. Sorry, Mike.
Magnification. How big it is on the at the film plane.
Right. Okay.
So if you're shooting 1:1, that is a magnification of 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't. That is the same size on the film plane as it is in real life.
Right.
So that means you have very, very, very little depth of field.
Yeah.
If you shoot a landscape with everything in, then you've got very little magnification. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which means you've got a lot of depth of field, loads of it.
Right.
Can I just jump in? Why are you using magnification as a term?
Because it's to do with magnification.
Yeah, I understand that, but every photography thing I've ever done ever in my life is all about focal distance.
They're all wrong.
Yeah, I know, but you're just confusing people by using magnification.
No, it is what it is. It's magnification. It isn't focal length. The focal length does not alter the depth of field at all.
But when I work out my depth of field and get my little depth of field calculator out, it says, what's your focal length?
Because what's it doing?
I know it's working out the magnification.
Exactly. It works your magnification out because that's how it works out its depth of field.
So how do you work out your magnification? You look at your
You don't
focal.
need to.
Of course you do.
No. Why do you need to? Do you need an absolute number for depth of field ever?
Well, if I want to, if I can't look on my camera and I want to look on my chart to predetermine it,
Why?
Not for macro. Because I want to know how much is in field. So if I'm doing a model that's 10 foot away on a certain lens, or if I'm doing wildlife,
Then learn it. You don't need it. Depth of field specifies what is acceptably sharp. And it's acceptably sharp when you get a 10x8 print from a 35mm neg and you hold it, I think it's a foot away, perhaps 2 foot away. I've forgotten now. That's it. Those are what the numbers are. You can throw all that lot away because these days we don't look at anything like that. So every single depth of field chart you've got is shite. It's all rubbish. Has no meaning.
Okay, so what do we do then?
Look at it. You don't need to know. You want what's sharp enough for you, don't you?
Right. So you're saying just look, you just take the image, take the picture and look at the image and see whether it's what you want.
But at that magnification, i.e., that field of view and that distance, i.e., that focal length and that distance, will give you a certain depth of field. So you want roughly to know what you're going to be shooting at. If you're going to be shooting insects, you're going to be looking at f11, f13. If you're going to be shooting a portrait,
That depends on background as well, doesn't it, Mike?
Yes, it does. And this is where your focal length does matter, because how it falls off depends on distance. Not necessarily the focal length, but on distance.
I find the distance your lenses from the subject should be the same distance as, if possible, as the subject to the background. Otherwise, you start getting all in bugs anyway. You start getting all
You
stuff
want,
in
yeah,
the
you
background.
want at least that. Yeah, at least that. Another myth. I didn't want to get onto this myth, so I didn't really want to do all this crap, but beers were here. Another myth. The point, the sharpest point, no. If you focus on a point, then it should be a third into the bit that you want sharp. Depends. Depends on the distance again. It depends on the magnification again. It can be anywhere from effectively a third-ish up to infinity. And it's usually closer to a half. So what you need to do is don't look at a table. You can start off looking at tables, but what you do, you pick your camera up and you shoot something with it. You shoot different things at different distances, because that gives you an idea what your system does that you are happy with, the way you use it. Because you could, you know, what do you look at your pictures on? Do you look at your pictures like that? Most people do now, which means they've got to be a lot sharper, because that isn't that. Right, I'm completely confused, everybody.
Well, no, I'm confused with what screen I'm looking at, because I've got you in a little.
Well, click on it.
Are we still looking at your?
Click on it. Click on the picture.
On
On the me. Yeah, I'm only in the middle. Sorry, if you want to see me.
No,
No, you're in a piece of honeycomb.
you're in a piece of honeycomb, and I wasn't
Oh,
seeing
yeah,
what you were showing us then. All I was seeing was your Photoshop screen.
Yep.
That was just Michael's live view, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm good. I'd have a bit more of me if you want.
You were very pretty in the honeycomb, actually. You were all right.
Yeah, I know. It's better because I'm smaller. That's why I put myself in there. I don't want to frighten too many people.
No, it's just you said look at you look at this, and I'm thinking I'm not seeing what you're telling me to look at.
Right.
You was in the sweet spot in the honeycomb.
Yeah, that's very true. Very true indeed. Right. So, carrying on. So basically, you choose whatever you feel like. When you're shooting macro, the chances are, whatever you're going to shoot at, you're not going to have enough depth of field for most of the things that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, agreed.
Which means that you've got to do things like stacking, if you can. Now, I know if something's moving about a lot, you haven't got a cat and else chance to stack it. You could always freeze it, but I didn't say that. But if something's not moving a lot, you can. You can stack.
Mm.
A lot of the spiders you find about at the moment, they're going to sit there for hours quite happily. As long as you don't actually hit them with your lens, you should be all right. And if you hit them with your lens, well, you deserve the bugger to run off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what you do is handheld stacking. You can do it with a tripod. You get a better result if you do it with a tripod. But I haven't got the vital piece of equipment that you need if you're doing it with a tripod, and that's a slider.
Why do you need a slider?
Because the best way of getting the images sharp and the same size is to shoot them using the slider by moving closer,
Right.
not by changing the focus.
Right. But if you've got an option on your camera that takes a series of images to be used for stacking, then would you be able to use that? Because I think my new Z7 does.
There won't be one.
I thought it did.
The only way that can do that would be to change the focus. It could change the focus. And with some lenses, you get away with it. Most lenses have got an issue that's called focus breathing, which means that when you change the focus, it changes the magnification.
Okay.
What I think, Michael, I think what Wendy's referring to is multi-shooting. How many frames per second?
Well, you wouldn't want to do that because you want to control where it's going to. Now, it's quite possible that some of the modern cameras have this. I haven't seen it. And they will change the focus. And you will get away with it with a lot of lenses because that's the only way they can do it. They can't move the camera physically because you're holding the damn thing.
Which camera is what you're using?
So I've got the Z7 and it says that it's got a feature that's got the potential to be useful for capturing images for focus stacking in post-production. And it's called focus shift shooting.
Yeah, so that's what it's doing. It's refocusing every time. And with some lenses, you'll get away with it. Other lenses, it makes it harder. Because some lenses have got this focus breathing.
And that will also require autofocus.
Yes, it would.
And a tripod.
Yeah. Yes, you really would want to have it on a tripod then, because if you didn't, any movement would really bugger it up. Whereas if you were controlling the movement, you can get away with it.
Just if I can, one little point for people with the Sony cameras, because I know we've got a few on.
Yep.
You have a feature in manual focus called focus peaking, and it puts little red dots on everything that's in focus. And this works really, really well for macro.
Oh, yes.
You can rock backwards and forwards, and you've got a plane that moves backwards and forwards of what's in focus because it all turns red.
Yeah.
And it's making this focus stacking extremely easy to do handheld, as you can just rock backwards and forwards, and you can see what's in, and then you just set your counter to your 10 frames a second and just run a batch off.
Yeah.
So that's and apparently there's some technical wizardry why it can't work on a DSLR, and so it's only available on the mirrorless cameras.
Yes, that's right. It is only available on mirrorless cameras because you can't do it on the optical viewfinder.
Yeah, correct.
It's got to be done on the image.
Yeah.
That's being captured.
But it's very useful for this sort of stuff.
Yes, it is. Uh-huh. Right. Oh, that's where they all went. That's good. So, just to give you a demo, I've put my camera down somewhere.
A quick question, Mike, while you're looking for that. Would you not use flash while you're trying to focus stack manually?
I would use flash if it was necessary.
I'm going to say I use flash live and not live. As in live, I'm outside on the outside in trying to get bugs, and I've stacked sometimes 5 and 6 stacks pictures, which is not a lot, all with flash. But I've also done it where I've gone to 20 pictures with flash, 20 stacks and 25 stacks.
Yep.
Yeah, on the tripod, that's absolutely fine, but handheld.
Yeah, why not?
Flash.
Handheld, my handheld is generally 3 to 5 with flash when I'm out in the field. Because some places I go with always take me tripod, and you've seen me macro, so it does okay.
Yeah.
And some of it I can use a tripod. Sometimes where it is, there's not a chance in hell of getting a tripod in, so you've got to get in there and get stung and everything. And if it's a biggish stuff, if it's a little fly, you don't stack it. But if it's a spider and you try to get the legs in, or damsels mating or something like that, then the stack is handheld with flash.
Yeah.
Photoshop, the features in Photoshop, I think Michael talked to you about. I believe they're good enough now to help with all the stacking.
Oh yeah, I'll do that in a minute. So, why do you think you shouldn't use flash when you're hand holding and stacking?
Well, if you're moving only, say, 3 millimeters from front to back, or 10 millimeters,
yeah,
chances of clicking your button, flashing, clicking, flashing, clicking, flashing, and keeping that steady is very difficult.
Why?
Well, maybe that's my Parkinson's. I have no idea, but for me, just to stay in one place and not move 5 mil is difficult.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I agree.
So to rock back, the technique I've been using is to rock backwards and forwards.
Yeah.
Without the flashing, and I can get.
But I don't understand why you're having problems with the flash itself.
Well, if I'm only moving, we'll say 10 millimeters from front to back, and in 10 millimeters, I want say 7 or 8 images.
Yeah,
I've got to click my button, flash, click my button, flash, and even clicking the button is introducing movement. Whereas if I'm doing it as a smooth one, I've got like 20 frames a second.
Right. So you were using the auto. You're using the motor drive effectively.
Yeah.
Treating that like that.
And then it's a much smoother run than if anything I try to do where it's just a single flash and I'm pressing the button. I find it introduces a lot of movement.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a very nice glass you've got there, by the way, but it is empty.
Oh, mine's not. Look.
Where? No? Your glass is empty behind you.
Oh, that's not me.
You talking?
Oh, I've got my camera wrong way around.
That's the one. Yeah. Right. So, it depends whether you. There you are. Right, your other one's empty.
Are you using on-camera flash?
I am for this.
Yeah.
I would prefer not to. If you're using off-camera flash, you're definitely better off because it is consistent and it's off-camera. Because off-camera flash is almost always better than on-camera flash.
Yeah. How about Eddie when he's out in the field?
Just stick it on a little light stand.
Who just kicked me out?
Won't get you out.
Somebody kicked me out. I'm back.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no one's kicking anybody out. And no one's changed the password yet. So that's doing all right. So what I would tend to do is to, can you see me on any of these? Does that give you a clue? No, that's too far away. Right, let's just go to that one. Move that. Down there. See whether that's any better. Yeah, so I would tend to sort of just go in, move carefully, slowly. You are doing the having it fire off loads of frames and just going along and hoping that each frame gets a suitable slice of focus. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I can just remove the ones that
haven't. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's another way. It is another way. I like to know what I'm focusing on, so I'm focusing on the right plane. And then when I mess up, I know where I can fix it next time. So, question from Eddie. Let's get this. Here we go. I brought these into I brought them into Lightroom, but I shut Lightroom because it's killing my machine. And this is a stack that I did earlier. So from there to that one.
We're not seeing that, Mike.
We can't say anything.
You can't see anything. Why can't you see anything?
All we're seeing is that chip.
Yeah, okay. Good shout. Right, I need to redo my diddly poos that I did before. That's why. There we go. Right. Okay, here we go. Right, can you see them now?
See all your chips yet?
Yeah.
Excellent. So this is a set of images, the stack that I did a little bit earlier. There's 10 of them, and I actually shot this, believe it or not, at 3.2, I think. Yeah, I'm fairly sure it was f3.2. Yeah, f3.2.
Yeah.
On all of them?
All of them. So there's sort of all depth of field. There's not a sausage in focus that's any use. But I'm going to stack them.
You've opened up in Bridge, haven't you?
Yes.
That's how you do it.
Yes.
Got you.
So in Bridge, I can open them all in Camera Raw.
Yeah.
Which will eventually, here we go, open them in Camera Raw. I will adjust them all so they are all the same. I will adjust them how I want them to be. Looking at the histogram, that's not too bad. I might just have a little bit more whites on there.
Could you just show people how you adjust them, Mike, with that little right-hand corner?
What, that bit?
Yeah, if you go to that little thing there, you can tell you all to select all.
Yeah, I'm going to do that, but I'm actually just doing it on one. I'm just adjusting one of them. You can select them all. You could do Control A and adjust them all. But I'm just doing one. One of them, that first one, I'm getting it how I want it to be. Yeah?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go up to this little hamburger up here.
Yeah.
Click on that. Before I do that, let's select them all. It's going to the wrong bloody one. All right, select all. So I've selected them all. And then I'm going to synchronize settings, sync settings. You must do that before you bring it into Photoshop.
Yeah.
Check all, synchronize them. Now they all have the same effects applied to them. That is vital. If you're doing it from Lightroom, sorry?
That's right what you're saying, but I actually find it, I select all and then do all my stuff like you did. You did all the stuff to it, change your contract. I do it after I've selected all.
Yeah, doesn't matter as long as you synchronize. Doesn't always grab everything.
Sorry, Mike. If you select them all
Yeah.
and do your changes, do you still need to synchronize?
Yes. I would do that for safety because I have known
that
some were not actually selected and you don't know it, especially if you've got a lot that's hanging off. You might think you've got them all selected.
Right. And what was the button that you pressed? It's right under the Jitsi logo is right underneath where I'm trying to.
Right. Well, sorry, let's move it over there a bit.
At this on Raw, there's a
See that hamburger menu?
Yeah.
side of the magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can just quickly do select all and sync settings. Tell it you want to check all. You don't need to if you haven't done any of these, but it doesn't by default. So and tell it to do it, and that's everything done. Then they're all the same. Yeah.
And you're in what, Camera Raw?
I mean, Adobe Camera Raw.
Oh, right. Okay.
You can do exactly the same in Lightroom.
Right. Yeah.
Then what you do is click on Done.
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 Yeah.
That shuts Adobe Camera Raw down. I'm not saving them as any intermediate format. They're done. But if you look on here in Bridge, can you see they've all had adjustments made to them? So that all those are now going to go into in Bridge, into Tools, down to Photoshop, and down to Load Files into Photoshop Layers.
Mm-hmm.
Click here on that and away it goes.
We're just getting your chip up again, Mike. All right, yes, you've got your thing going round.
Yeah, that's right, because it's just doing that. It's doing a load of rolling, and it's going to take a while. So it might get a little bit jittery now.
You need to borrow my whiz bang computer, Mike.
Right.
Yeah, I know. It's definitely struggling. Right, well, anyway, I'm going to try to stop it doing that if I can. Cancel that. Escape there. If it'll stop. Yes, it has done. Right. So, here's one I did earlier. In good Blue Peter fashion. I'm going to go to this one, actually. So what you would do then is select all your layers and go to Edit and Auto Align Layers. So you click on Auto Align Layers, just let it get on with auto. If you haven't put vignettes on or you've removed vignettes, then you don't need to bother with that. You shouldn't need to bother with geometric distortion because you shouldn't have moved laterally or rotationally. Just so auto will just get on with it, click OK, and it will do it. I'm not going to because again it takes forever. And when you've done that, you go Edit, Auto Blend Layers, and look, stack images, seamless tones and colors. You can put that in if you want, but that's making them up and filling the corners in. So click on that, and again, it takes for ages, and here it is. That's it. And as you see, it's sharp all the way from right there, all the way to the back. It's sharp enough. It is not pin sharp. I actually did this with an extension tube on as well, so I could get even closer. So the magnification is even more than 1:1. So, but if you look really close, you can see that there's a strip there with nothing sharp on it. There's a strip there with nothing sharp on it. There's a strip there with nothing sharp on it. And there's a strip there with nothing sharp on it. And there's a strip there with nothing sharp on it. So I needed to have done twice as many. I did 10. I needed to have done 20 in that range. But that's when you zoomed right in. That's at 50%. You know, and going to 100%, and you can see there's a lot that's blurry. But at that, it's sharp enough. Because what I mean by sharp isn't necessarily an issue with your image. It's an issue with how you view your image and what your brain tells you about your image. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Michael.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Go on.
When you said you used a extension tube,
yep,
and it was more than a 1-to-1,
yep,
yeah,
yep.
Now, what's the reason for people buying a 1-to-1 when they want, say, a 3-to-1?
Because there are very few lenses that are capable of doing more than 1-to-1. There's Canon do one, Laoma does another one, and there's a couple of others, and they are very, very, very difficult to use.
When I was buying one, they actually taught me. They went out of the way to taught me how to buying one for the Canon. I said, "Try to sell it me."
Yeah, I know somebody's got the. Is it the 1-to-5? The
yes.
Canon 1-to-5.
I think
he rarely uses more than 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Times.
Yeah.
You literally can't hand hold it or anything.
No, you can't.
And it's all manual focusing.
Yep.
So that's one of the main reasons with it.
It is very difficult to use. So sticking on the very rare occasions you want to go closer than 1-to-1, stick an extension tube on. They're not that expensive. You get a cheap set for 20 quid. If you want to go for the proper built like a tank ones, then yeah, those are going to cost you a lot. But it's simple and it doesn't degrade the optical quality in any way because there's no lenses in it. You know, it's just you see through there, see? Nothing.
What size would you use for ants, Mike?
Depends on the size of your ant.
Yeah, there's some bloody big ants out there.
It's 5'8".
If you got a humongous ant, you don't need to stick an extension tube on.
Normal bloody ants.
Yeah, well, I've only got a 25mm good extension tube. I've got a 35 and a 25 and a cheaper ones, and they do most of the time. But
putting an extension tube on is going to drop your depth of field, isn't it?
yes,
It will half it if you go from 1-to-1 to 2-to-1.
because the magnification goes up.
Yes.
And I've not changed the focal length, but I have changed the magnification.
Well, you have changed the focal length by putting
No, I haven't changed the focal length. I've moved the lens away from the camera.
Well,
It doesn't change the focal length. The focal length is still the same. I haven't gone to a 120mm focal length.
No, I didn't say focal length. I said subject distance.
Subject distance, you can get closer.
Yeah, exactly. So when I say focal length, the focal length of your camera is irrelevant. It's the subject distance.
Exactly.
So
Yep.
the subject distance is magnification.
Yeah.
The same thing.
That's right. Yep. If anybody doesn't believe me about or would like to have more confirmation, when it comes to depth of field and stuff like that. Let's have a look.
So while you're doing that, in this subject you've just done, you would never use such a shallow depth of field, would you?
Sorry?
Like the example you've just done, you use 3.2. And by doing that, you create yourself more problems in that you need a
Yes.
higher stack number.
Yeah.
So you'd be shooting that at F11, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
There's no reason to be doing that.
Exactly. Yeah. The reason that I did that way was your other reason, because it was too bloody dark and I didn't have my flash on at the time.
Yeah.
So that's handheld, quite a slow shutter speed, and I was struggling to get enough light on it. So the other ones I did with a flash on.
And another question I've got while you're doing your bit.
Yep.
If you double your distance again, so you're doing 1 to 2 rather than 1 to 1, so you're further away, then you're doubling your depth of field.
Effectively, yeah.
But obviously your subject's half the size.
Yes.
But with modern cameras, you've just got a lot more resolving power than you ever used to have, especially some of these big megapixel cameras.
Yes, that's right.
So, that is something I've learned with the butterflies and things is don't worry about getting it at 1 to 1 because they all fly off.
Exactly. Yeah. You've got enough pixels to crop it. If all you're ever going to do is stick it on screen at 1600 by 12 and you've got 7,000 pixels across, you don't need all that many. And that is where all this depth of field falls apart. Why does it fall apart? Because it's magnification at the focal plane. So if you can reduce the magnification at the focal plane and zoom in post, you have more magnification for the same aperture. You got more depth of field, sorry. Now that seems at odds with everything I've said, but it's not. You can try it. So if you can't get it, if you haven't got enough depth of field, but you've got enough pixels, come back, shoot it with that amount of depth of field, and then you can crop in post and you will have that amount of depth of field. A little bit less actually, but as near as damn it. So you can get away with that. You can cheat. Right, depth of field. Where is it? There's one in here that's absolutely brilliant on luminous landscape. Can't find the bloody thing now. Why you can never find something when you look for it, can you? So let's just see if I can dig it out. History. Not there. I'm using two browsers and I can't remember which browser I used to find it. And I'll look at a lot. Eeny, miny, more. No, it's not there, not there, not there. So if you do have a look on luminous landscape, you will find here we go. Just give me a more while I find it in here.
So while you're doing that, edit, if you had to set one shot only,
Yeah.
so you're not stacking.
Depending on what I'm shooting, Steve.
Right.
But if I'm going out doing my wasp or a bug, so it's going to move, I always pretend I've got or think I've got one shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're going to get for your maximum, your highest aperture you can. So you're going to be at 18 or 22, aren't you? Before
No. I shoot 10, 11.
10, 11.
Depending on if I'm in a place where I know I'm going to have background problems, I drop it down to 9 or 10. If I've got a bit more space, I go to 11. Again, it's the size of the bug, the distance between the bug and what's behind it.
Yeah, I heard you said before the distance between you and the bug, the camera and the bug in the background should be the same, if not greater, to the background.
But I'm generally between 9 and 11.
And you don't get the background in focus?
Yeah.
Right.
I've shot so many bugs. I mean, bloody hell, now I could use them. I could just change the background. But I've shot so many bugs that have been massively sharp and the background destroyed it. So I've binned them.
Yeah.
Which I haven't done now. But yeah, so I found that I shoot a lot of my stuff in prickles, hawthorn bush, not hawthorns, blackberry bushes and raspberry bushes. So most of the stuff goes there. I think it's because the sugar from the plants you get attracts what I go for. And because of that, the backgrounds are close.
Yeah. No, I've got thousands of bugs that are all crap for the same reason.
Oh, aye.
If you're doing something like a damsel, if you get it where it's at the pond, then you've generally got enough gap between them where you can shoot stacked and you can shoot around 11, 12 because the background's good. Sometimes you get damsel mating that is a bit horrible background, and then you stack 5 or 6 shots then and drop to an F9.
Yeah. I've noticed as well. It's much if you can get side on makes a big difference.
I try to get so I'm level with them, not above them, ever above them. And the biggest thing I focus on every single time is to get my lens as flat as the insect.
Yes.
So I'm on the same focal plane. No, if that is out, I mean, you can't tell when you're shooting, be honest, right away. You'll get into a nice little focus plane, and then the bloody bug moves sideways, that tilts its arse towards you, something like that. So you move it that way. But that's the first thing I try to do is, can I get so I'm lower than it or level with it, never above it.
Yeah.
Never above it. Because above it is what we see. Every single day you see a bug, a fly, you see its back and its wings, and it's boring. But as soon as you get under the wings, then it's a different creature. We're all interested in it then.
Yeah. No, the wife, strangely enough, is not really particularly interested in photography. But with the bug, she said, that's amazing because that's something I can ever see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the biggest bit.
Yeah.
It's getting so that everything in photography, I think, is the same, and that's why we like portraits. You look at people every single day, but you don't go really up close, and you don't see everything. You see the face from 6 feet, from 3 feet, 4 feet, and it's not the same as when you take a picture. That's why we like looking at portraits, because you're actually studying something more than looking at them like you do every day. And the bugs are exactly the same. If they what you see, then they're boring.
Yeah.
If you change it, so you're shooting kids. If you shoot from your height, it's a kid doing whatever it's doing, a child. You get down and lie down or sit down with them, and all of a sudden it's a different portrait of the child because you're not used to seeing them that way.
When I used to do it, that's what I did all the time. It was always getting a different perspective.
Yeah.
Never shoot from eye level.
You know, I do quite a bit of football, and a couple of my friends do it, and they shoot from the stand. So they're shooting the same pictures that everybody sees. And when I put mine up, they're getting better pictures sometimes than me. But because I'm low down and shooting up at the players, wow, I'm thinking they've probably got a better action shot than me, but it's the same as what you see.
Yeah.
Can I just butt in there, Steve?
No, you can't, Rob.
No, what you've just said about shooting low down. If you look back at your old cameras, they used to have the viewfinder on top. So therefore, you used to hold it at waist level to look down your viewfinder. So that was a different level until they changed the different cameras.
Yeah.
I'm not that old, me, Ron.
Well, you won't be. But
No.
you could have a look on YouTube. You'll be able to see them, Eddie.
Hey, Ron, do you know your camera's off?
What's that, sorry?
Do you know your camera's off? We can't see you.
Oh,
It
right.
usually is. Don't worry about it.
Wendy.
Looking at you.
Eddie, it's a good point. When I did the real estates, and I've done literally tens of thousands of them, and the first bit of advice was, get your camera out your hand, put it on the tripod and drop it down.
Yeah.
Shoot the room from the perspective of being sat down rather than stood up, and it makes all the difference.
Yeah.
Every time. Oh, perspectives is everything.
You walk down the street and a house is a house.
Yeah.
You're trying to sell a house or whatever you're doing, it's still a house. But then if you look at it differently, then it's not, is it?
No.
And that's something, to be fair, I learned off Michael a long time ago. You know, not long after I joined the club, is your pictures look like everybody else's. All right. And that's it. I didn't get told twice.
Well, you'll never be arguing about that now.
No. I've been shooting the Demon Lord today.
Is my mic on?
Yep. No. Yeah. Of course it is.
That's a question about this focus stacking.
Yes.
I was under the impression when you was doing that, you got in on a bug, focused on it, took a shot, moved back, focused, moved. And I don't get how that you're saying you don't refocus, you just move.
No, it's entirely up to you when you focus. You will want to focus on the bug.
Yeah.
You can go front to back to front. It's entirely up to you.
Right.
We are not saying that you don't focus, but you do. You focus on it at some point.
Yeah, you focus
and then move. The other way of doing it is to focus on it. If it's all on a tripod and locked up, then in theory you could change the focus on the lens and focus further down or further up the body. But that does cause problems with some lenses.
Right.
To be honest, I'm not sure how much of a difference it would make, because I don't do it that way, so I don't compare it.
Yeah, but to do it the way you're doing it with no focus. So, for instance, you focus on the back of it and then move away.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yes.
No, it's not.
No, move forward.
If you move away, you've changed how so you're 2 inches away, you take the picture. If you move away 3 inches, it's changed the picture.
But you're not moving 3 inches, you're moving the size of the bug.
That's what I'm saying, but you still change it. I tend to just move the focus squares.
If you refocus, then your lens could bugger it up for you.
All you're doing is moving your focal point.
Yeah. You're moving the focal plane, however you do it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but if I was looking at it through the viewfinder, it'd look as though it was moving out of focus, wouldn't it?
Well, you would see the plane of focus move.
So a different part of your image is in focus as you move back, or as you rack your lens back.
I don't do it like that.
Yeah. Most people do, as Steve said, lens rack. You use a rack to get closer or further away from it.
Yeah.
That is a more stable way of doing it than the way you do it with the...
But if you did it that way then, on a slider that moves in and out, would you refocus?
No. You leave the focus, you set the focus once
Yeah.
and you change the position of the whole lot towards or away from the bug by the size of the bug.
Depending on where you focused.
Yeah.
Initially.
So if you focus on its head, then you move back. If you focus on its abdomen, then you move forward, or you move away from it, back, forward, whichever way. But
You
you
do
know,
it different.
Yeah, if I focused on its
I
head,
do it different than that.
I know.
if a bug was looking my way and I focused on its head,
Mm-hmm.
I'd have to move closer to the bug, wouldn't I?
Yes,
Right. That's what kind of.
Yeah,
get my
that's
head
right.
around.
And this only applies to manual focus, obviously.
yes. You've got to stay in manual focus to do
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. So once I focused on that, I don't touch the focus again. I just press the short button and
And
move.
a little bit.
Yeah.
And it's not much. You're only moving a few milli.
Right. That's
Yeah,
what
the whole thing's out of focus, and it's out of focus.
I know when I'm unholding and I'm focused on something, looking through the viewfinder, I'm naturally moving, and it's moving in and out of focus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah, but you're not moving in and out of focus. You're moving the focal plane forward and backwards.
Yeah.
Effectively the same that you're choosing where your plane of focus is on the tiny little thing you're trying to focus.
Yeah.
Or you're just moving through that plane of focus.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Okay. Well, just to if anybody's interested, have a look at this place on Luminous Landscape. Luminous Landscape, luminous-landscape.com /DOF2. And that shows you how depth of field does not change with focal length. It actually shows you.
Yeah,
You
I
see
said
on-
that wrong back. I meant focal distance, not focal length.
Yeah.
Or subject distance.
Subject distance and field of view affect the magnification. So you look at that, and you've got, with different lenses, you've got exactly the same depth of field. You've got that sharp, you've got that less sharp, that blurry in the background by the same amount, whether it's on a shot from there. And this is not moving it. This is just shooting.
No, that has to move your camera after.
No, this is not moving the camera. This is changing your field of view by you putting a different lens on. The depth of field is the same. Changing the focal length of your lens is equivalent to a crop and nothing else. It doesn't change anything. It doesn't change the relationship between them. It doesn't change anything at all. Moving changes the relationship.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where that was misleading is they've cropped that image in. Yeah. But if you took that image in your viewfinder to look like that, you'd have to half your distance.
No, this is not changing distance.
I know that, but that's where I'm looking at that, and I see two images side by side, and what it doesn't say is image A is a crop to affect the same focal length. I think that to get that, you've moved in half the distance.
To be honest, I think you're right with this one.
Yeah, you're just cropping in, aren't you? Of course.
Yeah, they have actually moved it. What they've done, they've tried to keep that the same size.
Yeah.
What they
So they've
focus
cropped
on, the gremlin.
closer.
So they're going in. They are going in closer, but the depth of field is exactly the same.
Of course it is. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But in a practical term, when you put that 200mm lens on or your 50mm lens in, you change your perspective by moving forwards and backwards to fill the subject up in your camera.
When you move, you change the perspective.
Exactly.
And
So
changing the focal
if you look
length.
at the 200 and 400,
Yeah.
and you put
Changing
200 and 400 lens,
Think about it the other way around. Putting a different lens on allows you to change your perspective to get the same frame.
Yes.
That's all it's doing. It's allowing you to change that perspective. Right. Well, that got rather more
Involved.
complicated than I was intending.
Because you're allowing people to talk.
Yes, I know. Well,
Yeah, at least on Zoom, we've got control.
Yeah.
We don't let you.
Oh, I'm still shutting you up.
I'd sooner do this than Zoom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if the quality's been the same or.
You'll probably find the quality on this is as good, if not better, than Zoom.
Yeah.
Because of the technology that's used.
And I didn't pick up the chats either. They didn't pop up the same way that they did on Zoom.
You've got a chat window there. There you go, chat.
Yeah, but you've got to actually it down at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it, and they didn't pop up.
It does, but you've got to be looking at it. And staying on Zoom, you've got to be looking at it.
I found on Zoom when I was trying to chat, people would come in 5.5 hours after I'd wrote something.
Don't exaggerate.
Okay, 3.5, but it was true. I actually mentioned things, and then somebody'd say, "Oh, Eddie said this," and I've had 4 pictures before.
Yeah.
It does seem quicker than when I've used Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay. So if we use this next week for the appraisal, then we just need to lay out some ground rules with it.
Yeah.
Like we don't actually have to have you don't have to have both this open and the YouTube.
No,
you don't have
one or the other.
Yeah. What are the? So I think, and the other thing that we need to think about is for the quarterly is what the judge wants to use as well.
Exactly. Now that is different.
Yes.
Quarterly is different.
So we need to
it's
think
not going to be streamed. In fact, I'm not sure whether we should stream everything.
How do you mean? Sorry.
I don't think we should stream absolutely everything that we do.
Stream it
on YouTube.
No.
Overcomplicating it.
Yeah.
Keep it simple.
Yeah. I think if people are reading your emails, then they've got an internet connection, and that means that they should be able to pick up this call.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it does confuse things. So is there anything else on macro
that anybody wants?
I'd like to ask Eddie how he goes about it if he doesn't take them the way Michael says.
I use when you look through your viewfinder, you've got 32, 64 squares.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I pick up a square, fire, move it left, fire, move it left, fire, and I do it that way.
So it's using autofocus.
Right?
You're using autofocus and you're using the focus points.
Autofocus sometimes. If I'm doing it where I've got my tripod on, then autofocus or manual focus, depending on lots of things. So it's locked because if I've got it on a tripod, the camera's locked. If it's handheld, then again, it's how quick I think I can get my shots in.
Yeah.
And how big the bloody thing is. The longhorn beetle, 3 shots.
Yeah.
So I shot it. I shot its head, or just below the eyes. That's where I always shoot just below the eyes because of Mike mentioned earlier on about where's the best place to aim when you're focusing. So it was just below the eyes, and then it hadn't moved. So I went straight down the body, shot again halfway to the end, went straight to the top, and got just above it. Maybe just above the eye on its antenna, and there is a bit of movement on the antenna.
So you're actually keeping your camera still then?
Yeah, that's handheld. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or again, if it, like I said, when I've been doing these twigs and stuff, It's on a tripod. My spider on my bin was on a tripod because it weren't going anywhere.
Right.
All I did, I got the way I positioned the camera and all the dots was the legs, the body, and everything was inside all my dots, and I just kept going to each dot and firing.
Right. Yeah. Right. It's worth having a go at that way. Yeah. Cheers, Ed.
All right, mate.
So it depends on what you feel more comfortable with. But if you're doing in Photoshop the auto align and the auto blend, then the auto align these days is good enough to compensate for focus freezing or change of size by moving. What you don't want though is to do it when your subject is breathing.
Well, you've got to kill them.
Well, have you ever looked at dragonflies?
I try not to.
They're beautiful, absolutely
Yeah.
gorgeous, but they breathe.
Yeah, they don't stay still. I give up on them.
No, they stay absolutely still, except abdomen breathes.
Goes up and down.
Yeah, I tried to do a stack, and I thought, why isn't this working? Then I had a look. It's not working because I buggered up because it's breathing. Let's have a look.
I did them dragonflies when we were all out. Me, you, and Chris were out.
Yep.
I did that the way I just said.
Yeah.
Focus dot, focus dot, focus dot, wings. That would probably be about 6 or 8 shots on some of them. When I realised I could have time with them.
Yeah.
And that wasn't tripod. That was monopod.
Yes. Yeah. But I think if you try, doing moving the camera, especially if you're on a monopod, you rock solid. You can just all you need to do, and you can be so much quicker.
Right.
You are literally just going click, 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 click. You're not refocusing. You're not waiting for it to settle on it. You're just going click, 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 click.
If I start rocking back and forth like that, I get put in a home.
I always rock back and forth like that.
Exactly.
I don't know what you mean.
Mike,
Yeah.
would you ever do the rocking back and forward but using it on high speed?
I haven't.
Or at a slow speed? Yeah.
I shoot each one manually.
Yeah.
Rather than go.
Yeah, I'm same on one shot.
It does work.
You can
It
do
does
it.
work that way, but you've got to select the pictures that are in focus because there's a lot of them. You know, I mean, my camera, it'll do like 14 frames per second. So I've tried it a few times, but you've got to select the ones that you think are going to be good enough.
Yeah, that's right.
Another issue is
I can do
you
10 or I
14
can do
frames
at
a
slow
second.
speeds. I'm down to about 6 or 7. That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Well, you're better off with a high speed one. If you're going to do it that way, you want a faster shutter speed, as faster frame rate as possible.
Yeah.
The problem you've got with that is that you're not using a flash, are you?
No,
If you're using high speed, then you're going to struggle. In theory, you could synchronize your flash gun on multi-flash to your shutter speed, but I'm not doing it.
Yeah. That's far too much messing about in the field. That one shot set at all servo because you get movement with antennas or wings. So I'll servo one shot, fire, fire, fire.
Or the other option is not to use a flash, but to use a video light. So obviously,
Yes. Yeah.
It's not as easy.
But you could use flash. Probably not on motor drive, but if you're doing it single shot, if your flash is down at 64th or 128th power, and you're just giving it a little bit of light to go on with, that then it should recharge fast enough. Probably a 1/10 of a second to recharge.
I've tried many combinations of flashes, and really good flashes at that, with high recharge speeds, and none of them will do 10 frames a second unless you're spending a fortune. So you get maybe 3 and 5 frames a second.
Yeah, but if you're doing it manually, you're going to be at that.
Yeah.
You're not going to be at you're not. You're going to be. I'm flashing switch.
I've got the little thing. You see it?
Yep.
Hang on, turn it off. And a little rig I've made. Put 2 of them on front and 1 on top.
Yeah.
So I haven't tried it yet properly. But you can't get the same power. But I
No.
can get. But if you use it in combination with ambience, it's as good as a normal flash, but not as good as a good flash. So, that's me. But I can get 20 frames a second if I do that.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in again? You can use a ring flash, which works reasonably well, and you will get your frames per second on a ring flash.
No, you won't. Exactly the same.
Well,
it's recharge time because it's
I
flash.
managed it.
If you found
Flash rate constant and light rather than flashing, of course.
If you put your camera on a slow flash, you've got so many frames per second. If you set your camera for say 5 frames and put it on slow speed, your camera, you will get a flash on every one.
Yeah, definitely. I've done my AD200s on the Godox.
Yeah.
And if I get them down at a quarter power,
Yeah.
I can get 10 frames a second.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, no, not a quarter power. I have to be 128 power.
Yeah.
5
Yeah, I
frames
want
a
to say.
second.
Well, that's it. You take your power down, so it's got time to recharge. It's the recharge time which is the killer. So if the recharge time is a 1/10 of a second, and you're shooting at say 8 frames a second, then it'll do it.
Yes.
But
Yeah,
if
you
you
don't need all that much light.
no, you
As long
don't.
as you've
You're
got
very close.
some still light. At 128's quite enough, but you've got to have good light, ambient light as well.
Yeah, you use it as a boost, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, there's a problem with, like I said, if I'm going into the prickle bushes, you're shooting things under leaves. They're not sitting on top in the sunshine. They're under leaves.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, it's all to be tried, Ed.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
it.
oh, yeah.
Photography is a compromise. Whatever you do, it's a compromise. You compromise on this, you compromise on that. You can't get everything you want. So you pick something that you prefer to live with and you put up with the rest. Or you find a way around it. So if you haven't got the right lens or you haven't got the right depth of field, you take multiple exposures and combine them. Whether it's a stack, whether it's a panorama, or whether it's an HDR. If your camera is capable of doing what you want, then you have to work around it.
Not HDR, Mike, if Adrian's judging.
Yeah, but because he always gets it wrong. HDR is a way of extending the dynamic range. When you've got a wide dynamic range, you've got to then print it. Well, to be able to or view it, to do that, you've got to bring that dynamic range back. And it's how you do that, how you tone that the wide dynamic range to a narrow dynamic range. That's where things go wrong. It's called tone mapping. And you can tone map a narrow dynamic range into a horrible picture just as well as you can tone map a wide dynamic range into a horrible picture. Entirely up to you what you do with it.
So that's what I've been doing wrong.
Yeah.
All the horrible pictures I've got.
We've been tone mapping them wrong.
That must be it. I'll give over already. Mike.
Oh, not getting anywhere. Right. Okay. Right. Any other questions?
No, I mean, it's been quite involving, this one.
It has rather a lot more than I intended to be, but not nowhere near as involved as it could have been.
Can I just say it's been quite enlightening?
Yeah, it's been helpful. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you got something out of it.
Yeah, so I think a big thank you to Mike. Been going in what, just over an hour, nearly a couple of hours. So thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
For trying Jitsi as well.